Now, there is a practice mistake that every single golfer on the planet, including myself, has made at some point or is making right now. And that is thinking of far too many things or working on far too many things when you're practicing. There is a ton of you out there who are trying to work on about 5 things at once, and those practice sessions can get very, very frustrating because you would have no idea what one is not going the way you want to if you're working on 5 different things. Now, with golf swing, we know that there is a lot of stuff happening, absolutely. It's a very, very difficult sport to play well. Some would argue, and I definitely would, that it is the hardest sport to play well. So, that doesn't mean, though, we have to think of tons of things. We have to think of and work on things in a process, almost a priority list. We can't work on multiple things at once. I want golfers working on maximum of 2 things at once. So, when you look at your golf swing, you've got to know, okay, if you've got a little fault, let's say you've got early extension, for example, you're standing up through the shot, losing control of the club face, maybe you might result in some tops and fin shots, some fat shots because of it. Now, when you would go about working on something like that and fixing that in your own golf swing, you would go and think, okay, why am I doing it? Why am I early extending? So early extension happens always for a reason. You've got to work on it. You might be a golfer who, for example, my recent video about steepening the shaft, you might have a steep shaft, which then you have to stand up to shallow the shaft last minute. So for you, you would work on, why am I steepening the shaft, fixing that, and work a little bit on making sure you're getting that pelvis to move back. That'd be it. You don't want to work on trying to hold any angles. You don't want to be trying to work on what your right thumb is doing in a downswing. Don't be silly. You want to be working on maximum of 2 things, the root cause and the effect. But if, let's say, you don't have something like that in your golf swing, you want to just be working on 1. So especially, let's say you're a golfer with a club face issue. So I see loads of golfers with either 2 closed or 2 open of a club face. So for them, they would have to make compensations to make that work. But most golfers be working on far too many of those. Just start off, okay, if you're a 1 at a time golfer, which that's me as well, I can't work on more than 1 thing at one time. I have to do just 1, of course. I'll be okay, let me get the club face square as I can, as early as I can. Get it matching my spine angle. Let me continue to wrap that out with a good little drill, just like this, until I can see myself do it when I'm not even thinking about it. So I'll just rep it out over and over again, a good little drill. So like this takeaway drill here. And then I'll keep doing that until finally I see myself on camera. Maybe I'll do a couple feels beforehand, doing that exact same motion. And then I'll go, okay, let me continue to do that. Let's do that for another practice session, for example, till I know I've nailed it. And then I'll go, and then I might start to work on a little bit of something else. Don't do too many things at once. It will absolutely destroy your golf game. Always work from, okay, if there's something in your setup, work on that first. If something in your backswing, work on that first. Downswing, especially impact, should be the last thing you would really work on if you're doing it 1 at a time, of course. Definitely impact, guys. There's so many of you that, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a student who's a first-time student who said they've been working on impact and that was actually what they needed to work on. Hardly ever. I can't even think of a time where they'll be doing something else before that, which will be getting them here or regardless of they're working on. Always make sure there's a priority list. Start of the golf swing first, or if it's a big issue, see whether there's a reason why it's happening and then work on that first. You can work on the other thing. If you're one of those golfers who can work on multiple things at once. 2 maximum, 2. So, guys, make sure, make it minimal. It might make it seem like it takes a long time doing it that way, but I tell you what, it takes a longer time doing it the way you're doing it because you're not improving. No one can improve unless they're a rare group of individuals who can work on more than a couple things at once. It's a very, very small amount. So, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. So, make sure you're working on minimal stuff and then progress from there.